guys, welcome back to the channel for another video today. We are joined today with Peter for our second in this vast, hopefully, series of interviews here on the channel. Peter is a wonderful contributor in our Facebook group and has been just absolutely amazing all around in there and communicating with others. So I really wanted to have him on here to share his story with us. So Peter, you want to introduce yourself?
It's good to be here, Brittany, and thank you for the nice accolades. I'm not sure I am deserving of all that, but anyway, yeah, I'm a former television reporter. I worked 40 years in the business. My last job was in Tampa, where I worked at WFLA. I am also a meteorologist, so I've done weather, and I also flew the drone for the station, if you need to know that. But I worked all over the country. So some of your viewers who live in places like Albany, Springfield, Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri, Pocatello, Idaho, Topeka, Kansas. Those are some of my prior engagements. I have people come up to me every now and then. They'll say, "Were you in?" And they'll mention some city that I was in doing weather, because that's usually what they know me as, weather and not reporting. So, but now I'm a happy weight loss person, and I'm proud to tout the benefits of it.
Weight loss person. I love it. So do you want to tell us a little bit about your backstory with obesity and how you sort of, I'm really interested to know right now about people's past in terms of like childhood obesity or struggles with obesity, growing up to and kind of getting you to the point where you reached for a GLP-1.
Well, I don't think I am typical in that when I was growing up, I was a skinny little gaunt guy. People used to come up to me and say, "Oh, your cheeks are all gaunt." I started getting fatter. I'm not sure that's a term I should use. Bigger, obese, when I was a TV reporter. I was out in the field and I didn't have time. I know excuses, but I would go to McDonald's and Wendy's and wherever else and grab a quick bite and have a burger on me and in my lap, and hopefully not on my tie, so that I could be on the 11 o'clock news without food all over the place. And I was just reviewing a story that I did back in 2018 before we came online here. And I said to my wife, who was sitting here, I was big back then. So I got larger and larger. One of my anchors came up to me one time and patted me on the belly, and he goes, "Well, you're putting on some weight there." And I was mad. I went home. I told my wife, I said, "Bob came up to me today and patted me on the belly and said, putting on some weight." But he was right. But that was not my comeuppance. I decided to move here to the Villages, where I am now, 3 years ago. And I was eating, we still do. We eat out a lot. And I don't like to pay $17 for a meal and leave it on the plate. Still don't. But
yeah,
I've changed my ways, Brittany. I've changed my ways.
Because they make it 2 meals now, Peter. We get 2 meals for $17.
Exactly. So I went out to see my stepmom in California, and when she was out there, she very gingerly and kindly says, "Peter, maybe you ought to look into doing something." This was in March, by the way, so not too long ago.
Okay.
When I came back home, I looked up a place called Meta Weight Loss. They're one of these clinics. They advertise a lot. I went in there and I had compounded tirzepatide injected on a weekly basis, and I started to lose weight. And I was like, "Whoa, this is fantastic." Yeah, it's amazing. I was losing really fast and doing the exercise and the meal planning and all that kind of stuff, and decided to stake out on my own and not use Meta Weight Loss. So anyway, long story short, I'm using a place called 9 a.m. Health. It's one of these places that they have doctors on staff. And I'll tell you the reason why, and I'm talking too much here, but my regular doctor would not write me a script for tirzepatide, Zepbound. And I asked him like 3 times, and he'd say, "Peter, your CPAP is doing the job for your obstructive sleep apnea. You're taking medication for your high blood pressure and your high cholesterol. So I don't see a reason for you having this." Oh, so I was exhausted.
Was it an older
No,
doctor?
he's a younger guy, and he's right out of med school. Yeah, so I don't know what you could say. I fired him, and I found a place out in California, this 9 a.m. Health, and the doctor looked at my stuff, and I know it's legitimate. I'm not trying to make an end run on the guy. I just know by my own research, if you call it that. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV, but I found this guy, and he said, "Peter, you qualify. I'll write you the script." So I've been taking Zepbound. As you know, you start at 2.5. I did that for 2 months, and now I'm on the 5 milligram dose. They keep asking me if I want to titrate up, and I keep telling them no, because I've achieved what I want to do, and I don't want to risk some of the side effects.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. That is one very large mistake I've made in my journey. Was back when I started on Mounjaro, was what I originally started on in 2022.
Yeah.
Geez, it's been a long time. I went up every month because that's what my doctor said, and that's what the recommendation was at that time. There wasn't a whole lot of data on it yet.
Right.
And man, oh man, when I go back and watch some of those early videos that I posted, and me talking about how I was feeling, I was like, wow, I just could have done this so differently.
Yeah. And
If
so
I
many
had,
people quit because of that. You know, when they're
yeah,
doing the testing and all that, people are saying, oh, I'm out of here. Well, you don't need to titrate up. If you're getting success, stay where you are.
yes. Oh, that I wish more people would do that, but I think that they equate a higher dose with faster or more weight loss. And
Yeah.
that is not true.
Not entirely true. And then you risk the constipation and the nausea and the vomiting.
Mhm.
Why risk? You know, I'm at I weighed myself today, 165.8. My goal is 165. So
You're like right there.
oh
How
my,
tall are you?
5'8".
Okay.
Yeah. So my BMI, I used to be what they referred to as obese on the BMI. I'm not. I'm now just overweight, but I am like point 0.1. Point
Yes.
0.1. So I always lose weight when I play tennis because I sweat so much. So I came home today and I ran to the scale and I said, all right, I lost a little.
Yay. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
So you've lost 37
Roughly 34, 36. Yeah, somewhere
okay.
in there. You know, it depends
Since
on
March, really.
since March, yeah, mid-March. So what? Just call that 5 months. So I think I'm a success story. And I read online and I see on your blog that there's people out there that are losing 1 or 2 pounds, maybe a week, and then they have a plateau. And I say to those folks, my wife is one of them. I say, stick with it. This is
Yeah.
not a quick wait. It's not like a get rich quick scheme like they used to
Yes.
say. You know, don't buy land in Florida or swampland. It's not a get skinny scheme. So stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. I think, now again, I'm not a doctor. I think at 5 milligrams, I've done well. And I would suggest to someone, if you're doing well, stick with it and talk to your professional. You know, don't take advice from me and
Right.
think about titrating up, but make sure it's a 3-legged stool. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but you know, you got to do the exercise. You have to do the diet. I take a Fairlife protein thing every day,
Mhm.
a bottle. I walk a mile every day with my neighbor. Come hell or high water, we are out there walking unless it's raining. But then I know a mile doesn't seem like a lot, but it's movement. You got to move.
No, anything is better than sitting on the couch, right?
Yep, yep. Which is where I am right now.
Yeah, well, I was before we started this. I was eating my lunch and then I was like, I guess I got to get up now.
Yeah.
But to go back to your point of people like, well, they'll stop because they're on a side effect or they're having side effects that are negatively affecting them. On the flip side, you also have people who think that it's not working fast enough, right? So they're like, okay, well, I've been on this medicine for a month and Peter lost 15 pounds his 1st month, but I've lost 2. So it
Right.
must not work for me. So I'm just going to quit and stop.
Well, what I would say to those folks, and I know you know this, but this is an educational program. I think every single person has their own individual metabolism. I'll further say that I think women have a harder time losing weight than guys. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. So just for context, you know, my husband is also on GLP1 on tirzepatide. He never had to go above 2.5, not once.
There you go.
And he lost like 50 something pounds since like December.
Wow.
And the thing is now we can't get him to stop losing weight. He's taking like 1 shot a month of 2.5. And it's just like, oh, I lost another 4 pounds. And I'm like,
I think some of your viewers are going to want to crawl through that camera right here and say they want to strangle you for that because they're struggling and yet your husband.
Right. And I understand that even as a woman, I'm a good responder.
Yeah.
I lost weight relatively quickly, but it's just like he takes the shot and he doesn't want to have food anymore and he's just fine, you know?
Yep. Again, individual metabolisms. My wife's on Mounjaro also, and she's lost, I think, I don't know, maybe 7 pounds in the month and a half she's on it, which
I was going to say, she started after you, right?
Yeah, she started way after me. Yeah, she's only been on it for, I think, going on 2 months now.
Okay.
Yeah, and she
But
just
still,
titrated.
7 pounds. She wouldn't have lost those 7 pounds if she hadn't started Mounjaro.
Exactly. And she's kind of, I will say, I started back in March and she's been my coach on this thing. We have a scale in the kitchen and we weigh out the 5 ounces of meat. So I make sure I don't overeat and all that kind of stuff. Now we can kind of eyeball it. I know a filet is, that big. So she was my coach, and now the coach is coaching herself, and she knows what to do. We don't go out half as much. I've given up on beer. I really don't have a desire for beer anymore, and I used to love craft beers.
So I was never a beer drinker, but I did enjoy wine here and there, and I have also completely lost the want to drink. And there's some studies going on about that. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
I
it's
think that's pretty
exciting.
cool.
I think there are people who abuse alcohol or are truly alcoholics that maybe this would be a great alternative because it's a you get 2-for-1. You lose some weight and you don't drink as much, or maybe you cut it out completely. I think that was one of my causes for weight gain is we would go out and I would love to get a flight of beer and try different things. We used to seek out craft beer places, but we don't do that anymore. I've had one beer in 5 months. It's because my neighbor brought over a can and I didn't want to be rude and not have it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I will have, there's one Mexican restaurant. If we go there, I'll get a margarita. But other than that, it's just not something that interests me anymore.
Yep.
And I don't know about you, but when I would drink, I would eat more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like it made you hungry. So
I think there are certain, like, for instance, I love tacos. I'm a taco fanatic.
Yeah.
If I have some really good ground beef tacos with some guacamole, and we're supposed to be talking weight loss here, but
we're talking about food.
Yeah, no. If I have, a Mick Ultra with that, it's just the perfect mix. Now I get a water with lemon, and I feel.
Yeah.
Here's the deal, Brittany. If I eat something that I'm not supposed to have, I feel guiltier than anything, and I'm also feeling that I'm kind of sabotaging all the work I've done. I'm not going to eat a cake or a Twinkie or something like that, and then all that work I've done is for nothing.
So you still have guilt? You still struggle with that?
If I have something I'm not okay, there's a brand new Portillo's that just opened here in the Villages. I don't know if you're familiar with that restaurant.
I don't know.
All right. They gave everyone a slice of cake with their meal, and I'm sitting there looking at it in the bag and looking at Kim. We're both looking at it. We're not supposed to have it. And I said, how about 2 bites apiece? How about 3 bites apiece? Because it was really darn good.
Yeah.
And when I left there, I thought, oh, I'm going to pay for this. I'm going to pay for this. And I kind of opened my eye with one eye and looked down at the scale, and it was okay. So my body metabolized it, and it's okay. And in talking to the folks over at what is it, The Downsize, I had a similar conversation, and he said to me, Peter, don't worry about that.
I was about to say, Peter, this is crazy. You can have a piece of cake.
Oh, no. But, one of my indulgences, I have to have a cup of coffee in the morning, and I love lattes, and it has cream, which is not good for you. And I put half a teaspoon of sugar in, and I know that I'm being silly about this, but I used to have 2 cups, and now I'm down to 1 because of my worry about gaining weight.
So you still very much count?
I don't count, but I'm very conscious of what I eat. When I play pickleball, I don't bring anything that's fattening. I bring maybe an apple. Today I had a banana. That's probably not good. I bring electrolyte beverages in a bottle and some crackers. Now the crackers is to give me a sudden boost of carbs for the energy, and I think I burn right away.
Well, the banana probably did that today.
Oh yeah. If I don't, there's been a couple of times, I got to admit to you, I play pickleball also. I was on the pickleball court when I first started this, and I had not eaten properly, and I was out on the court, and the world started getting dark to me, and it was like a tunnel vision. And I sat and I put my hand against the net, and my instructor looked at me and she says, "Are you all right, Peter?" And I said, "No." And I had to go home. That was the first time in my life that ever happened.
Have you been, I don't know how long you've been watching my videos, but have you caught, maybe you were the one that said that was the video you found me on, where I was at the water park and I blacked out?
No. Well, that's terrible though.
That's very similar to what you just said. So I hadn't eaten breakfast. I was going down water slides with my kids, up and down the water slides, and was waiting in line for a water slide, and all of a sudden,
boom.
Can't see, vision going black.
Lights out.
I don't know how I didn't faint and fall down all the stairs. Wow. Somehow I made it to the bottom and drank a Gatorade to get
you were dehydrated, and I'm going to guess that you were dehydrated and maybe had not had enough protein to keep you going, because
I don't think I'd eaten anything.
Oh, that's really bad. That was my case. I think I had maybe I don't know, a power bar in the morning, but that was early. That was a wake up call for me. And,
same.
So I thought to myself, I'm not going to let that happen again. There's been a few times when I've kind of felt it coming on, and I go off court real quick and try and stop it from happening. But I think that's kind of dangerous, and that indicates that we've blown it. We screwed up.
Do you feel like you're on 5 milligrams currently, correct?
Yes.
Do you feel like that is turning off your food noise?
It is. I will tell you, when I was at 2.5, I guess you guys are all GLP1 people, so day 5 and 6, my food noise would start to come back, and I'd be looking at the snacks in the house going, that sure would be nice to eat that.
Yeah.
But 5, doesn't happen anymore. I still will have like a power bar. I have a snack bin here, and I'll see like low fat stuff like cheese,
Yeah.
maybe cheese. So if I feel that I need to eat a snack, I will only go for that. What I did, Brittany, to make sure that there's no temptation. I went through, or my wife went through the cabinet. We got rid of anything that would possibly tempt me in the slightest.
And just don't buy it. That's what we do here as well.
Don't buy
But I feel like for us, we're to the point now where I can actually buy things like for the kids or whatever, and we don't touch them.
You won't touch it?
I know.
All right. You're good.
I'm actually not a sweet eater. That was never my thing. I was a salty eater. So like candy, stuff like that does not entice me. But
one of my indulgence, and this is a good one too, and I pass it on to your viewers. If I'm feeling a slight bit of nausea, and it does come on every now and then, I have what are called ginger chews. If you get,
I used those when I was pregnant.
Okay. At Amazon, they're called Gin. It's $10 for a pound, but they're going to last you a long time. I've got a little thing of them over here, and they are really good. They are like little things of taffy, and I looked them up. It's 40 calories for 2 of them, so 20 calories a piece. I think that's negligent.
Yeah, no, you'll burn that eating it.
Yeah, there you go. Like celery, right?
Yeah, like they say about gum. Like gum's not real calories because you're going to chew and burn it.
Another go-to for me, a tip, and I'm sure this is not a revelation for you guys. Celery with peanut butter. Dip the celery in the peanut butter, and that gets me over my cravings.
Yeah. So I am actually allergic to peanuts.
Oh.
Fun fact, but I use Wow. Have you ever heard of Wow butter?
No.
It's essentially it's a soybean butter. And it tastes like peanut butter because we're going to get off on a tangent here, but I was not allergic to peanuts until I was 20.
Oh, wow.
I ate them until I was 20. So I know what peanut butter tastes like. So.
Is this the kind of allergy where epinephrine, you've got to get a shot?
Yeah, I have an EpiPen. Yep. I have an EpiPen and I carry it with me. I kind of just know, I mean, I'm 36 now, so it's been 16 years. I kind of just know what not to eat at this point.
You know how to live with it.
Right, but I always have it just in case. Yeah. But okay, so I want to backtrack a little bit to the time where you were talking about being out in the field, going through Wendy's, the McDonald's, whatever, and that you said that's really when your weight problem started.
It is. It is.
Do you feel like, because okay, when I was talking to Melissa, which her interview will be up tomorrow, but her and I were talking about food addiction and struggling with the obsession and the addiction over food. Do you feel like you had that, or do you think it was more of like a convenience? I have a lot to do, so I'm just going to go to Wendy's.
Choice 2. I don't consider myself to be a foodie in any stretch of the imagination. I would be out in the field. I would do my 4 o'clock live hit, maybe a 5, and I'd turn to my photographer and say, we got to get something to eat. We're going to be here till 11 o'clock, and I'm not going to make it. So we would run through McDonald's or Wendy's and eat in the car. And as I say, I just had to keep the ketchup from dropping on my tie.
And you never had any trouble choosing healthier foods?
No, I just didn't. It wasn't handy. It wasn't convenient. You said it. It wasn't convenient. I guess I could have, you know what? It's excuses. I could have made a go pack. My wife could have made me a go pack and I would have done. We just didn't do it. And I didn't think about it. It really wasn't until I took that March trip that my stepmom looked at me and she said, "Oh, wow, Peter, you're packing on the pounds." I was 203 at the time. So and my BMI was, I think, 31. I was considered obese. Now I'm just overweight and 1.8 of a pound
You're
more.
almost there. So what's really great is it was caught before, 203, as like you caught it before it got really bad, right?
Yeah.
And we see lots of people in the Facebook group that are 300-400 pounds that are now and doing miraculous things.
Yeah, there was one today. I gave her an attaboy.
I was reading that earlier. She's lost like 200 pounds or something like that, and it's just absolutely amazing. But what I think is interesting about you is that you are sort of a different. We talk a lot about GLP-1 users that have food addiction and that struggle with significant food obsession and food noise and hiding food and binge eating.
Yeah.
But you don't necessarily fall in that category.
No, I don't think I'm typical, or maybe I'm not in the majority on this thing. I was pre-diabetic, and I'm happy to say now I'm not. The doctor that I got rid of, he told me that once you, and maybe this is true, once you're diabetic, there's no going back. But if you're pre-diabetic, you can solve it before it gets into that cat. So now I'm not. I'm normal as far as the AC. What is it?
A1C.
A1C, thank you. A1C. I'm normal now, and I've made a vow to myself, my friends, to Facebook groups, and I'll say it to you: I'm never going to be overweight or obese in my life again.
Same.
Yep, that is
Preach
my
it.
vow, and I'm sticking to it. There's my little. That's my. I can't imagine going back and being 203 pounds again. Would I hit the 200 mark when I would go to the doctor's office and they put me on the scale? And it's, they say doctor's offices scales weigh a little more. I don't know if that's true or not. And it would say like 204 or 205. I'm thinking, holy smokes, Peter, you got to get it under control. This is ridiculous.
And I was 255 at my highest.
Wow.
So, and that, it took me a long time. Like, so you had this wake up call. You were able to get on a GLP-1, lose the weight really quickly. I was 230, 250-ish pounds for many years and could not get it under control.
Yeah.
And so that's a way that we differ. And I'm wondering how much of that is man versus woman.
Mm-hmm.
Because
could be.
My husband, again, you gave him 2.5 and he just flourished and lost all the weight. And he also, didn't struggle as much with the food addiction type of thing. Maybe it's just that us women are hormonal. I don't know.
I think there's something to be said for that. I also think that being on a GLP-1, I've modified my life. I've, with the food and the exercise, I've made it a point to get out more. I am a member of a gym, but I will tell you in open court that I cannot stand strength training. I have silver sneakers because I'm on Medicare and they pay for it. So I don't even have to pay to go to this gym, but I cannot stand it. I don't like the atmosphere. They're very nice. They're very cordial in there, but sitting there and just doing reps. Oh
yeah, I'm not, it's not me either.
Oh, I can't
stand. And I know
it
it should be, but I just.
Yeah. And they say that strength training is important. I know for a fact that I've got flab in my arms that I never had before, and it's because I've lost muscle. I know there's some people out there in your group and some other folks are going to look at this and say, Peter, you have to do strength training. So tennis won't cut it and pickleball won't cut it because it's just momentary bursts of energy. Whereas when you're doing the strength training, you gain that muscle. And I'm worried now that I may have gone too far and that I've got flab in my arms that it's going to really be hard to get rid of.
I mean, I'd rather have a flabby arm than the weight back,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think it's relative to what your specific goals are and what you're comfortable with.
Right.
So.
And I think before we started recording, I was telling you how I do YouTube stuff here in the villages.
Yeah.
And people come up to me all the time and they say, because they recognize me, I do a program called, it's called Bubble Wrap, and it shows on a YouTube channel here. And I have people come up to me a lot and say, hey, Mr. Bubble Wrap, how you doing? And it's an endearing term. I like it. But I don't want to be that large guy, that overweight guy, that obese guy that people come up. So now they come up to me, and I've mentioned on the program that I'm trying to lose weight, and they look and they say, hey, you're doing well, looking good. And it is the ultimate compliment to have a stranger come up to you and say, hey, Peter, I noticed you're losing weight. Unbelievable. I love that.
Are you open about, I know you shared a little bit with me before, but I want you to tell everybody how open you are with sharing that you're on GLP-1, because there's so many people that struggle with this.
I am willing to sing it from the mountaintop that there is a medication out there, well, actually two, that can solve your weight issues. And what we need to solve right now is the cost. But let's just talk about GLP-1 right now. If you are overweight right now and you're contemplating going on a GLP-1, look into it. Talk to your doctor. If they won't write you the script, then get someone else to do it. Now, the bugaboo right now is, will insurance pay for it? For Medicare, there's a law that states that they will not pay for weight loss medications. You have to have a comorbidity. For me, it was I have sleep apnea, obstructive sleep apnea, and Zepbound is for that. By the way,
you get yours covered.
I get mine covered. Yeah, I pay $93 a month. That's my copay. My wife gets hers covered because for a while there she was into the diabetic realm. So we pay. I know that some people are going to get mad at this, but we pay $25 because she's not on Medicare. We can use a coupon, and Lily provides. So we pay $25 a month for hers.
That's originally when I first started on Mounjaro, they had a coupon that you could use for $25 if your normal insurance didn't pay for it.
But you can't be on a government program.
Right. You can't be on any type of government program. So I got that for the first 6 months. 6-ish, 6, 7. And then I paid out of pocket for a while, which
Yeah.
we know was ridiculous. But like you, I don't ever want to be without it. So I paid for it. And then I ended up switching over to compound because
I gotcha.
it
Well,
just was,
you asked me about, yes, I sing it from the mountaintops. If someone comes up to me and says, how do you do it? I love it. It's an entree, because obviously I'm not going to approach someone and say, GLP-1 would help you. That's rude. That's rude.
right.
But if someone comes, I was at an event here in the Villages about a week ago, and somebody said, hey, I see you're losing weight. And they asked me, what drug are you on? How's it working? And I told them about prior authorizations. I'm sure your folks know all about that, and what you need to do to get the drug for a reasonable cost. There's not a lot of people out there that can afford $1,000+ per month. We got to eat. You got other priorities right now, and one of them is keeping a roof over your head. So if someone asks me about it, bring it on. And that's why I do videos like yours. And on my own Facebook page, I'll post my progression shots. Here's what I've done. And people, they give you the thumbs up. I've had some haters out there that have said, I would never put that poison in my body. And I say,
I get the same.
I say, my answer to that is, you do you.
I have put myself completely out there, right? So if I'm going to share all this on the internet, I've got to expect some type of people to come back at me, little keyboard warriors coming back and telling you that you're, the joke I like is that in 20 years, we're going to have 3 heads.
Yeah.
So I like to say that.
My wife's sister is a pharmacist, and she goes, oh, we don't know about the long term. We don't know about the long term. Well, here's the long term of being overweight is bad knees, bad hips, perhaps dementia. As I know you're aware, there's some studies out there that maybe it's going to help with that. There's so many things. Inflammation. You had a video, I think it was just yesterday.
It was yesterday. That was one of my favorite ones. I really went gung-ho on that one.
Yeah. So maybe there's things that are going on in your body that you don't even know about that are going to be a problem for you 5, 7, 10 years from now. So you know what? I'm excited about the future. I'm 66. When I'm 76, I'm going to be glad to say to people, I took tirzepatide and look what it's done for me.
Yes, same. The long-term effects of being obese, like you were saying, are so much significant. And, also GLP-1s aren't new. Nope. Like some people think that they are. They've been being studied since like the 80s, the peptide itself.
Right. And Trulicity's out there, and there's a whole bunch of other ones that are GLP-1s. The famous ones are the 2 made by Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk. And I'm going to jump ahead because I saw some of the questions you wanted to ask me. I'm going to jump to the future. I think the 2 of those guys are going to fight it out, essentially. I think eventually Medicare is going to determine that obesity is a treatable disease and add it to their formulary and make it so that people who are on Medicare can do it for a reasonable cost without a prior authorization. That's my hope. My little $20 or $93 deal ends in next April. And I think they're going to take me off the plan. I'm thinking I'm going to have to pay full price, but I think maybe by then people will come to their senses and realize that you need this stuff in order to maintain your health. And why are they saying that obesity is not a health concern?
And the World Health Organization actually classifies obesity now as a disease. They've added it to their, and the American one as well, whatever that one's called. I can't think of it off my head. But they've classified as a disease now. So, and I don't know if you know how much about insurance works. I was mentioning to you that that's kind of what I did prior to children. But Medicare and Medicaid, adding it to their formulary is the ultimate goal, because once that happens, it trickles down into all of the other, because most other insurance companies base their formularies off of what the government one is. And it's just kind of how it works. So if Medicare and Medicaid are covering it and it's added to their fee schedule, then it's going to trickle everywhere else. And I think there's a lot of funny business going on with insurance companies right now, like with Blue Cross Blue Shield. They went from we'll cover it with your prior auth or whatever, and then they ended up shifting the blame to we're going to let the employers choose whether or not they want to cover add it to their formula. So all it is just taking the blame off of them for not saying no and just making it on the employer. So there's a lot of funny business going on.
But there is, and I think they're being pound foolish, penny pound, is it pound foolish, penny, whatever that phrase is, because if you treat obesity now, maybe you will forestall a bigger cost later. So yeah, I know it's expensive at what is it, $1,300 for Mounjaro or something like that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
It's outrageous. So they are not wanting to shoulder that cost. Okay, let someone get 250, 275, like your viewer that said that she lost so much on the drug. What was her future going to be like?
Right.
A diabetic, most likely, health problems like a knee replacement, a hip replacement, a foot, ankle. You can't. I have a friend here in the Villages, and I don't know what his weight is, but he's a very large guy, and I've tried to convince him to do it. And I'm honestly and truly worried about his future as far as health concerns, because he's not doing what I'm doing.
And the problem is that so many people that are stuck in that heavier, obese body are scared because they see all these things about side effects and they see all these things about future. And that's why there needs to be more of us that come out and say, you know, I saw on the Downsize, actually, they had a video, I think it was yesterday, where they said that now 1 in 10 Americans are on a GLP-1. And that I would assume includes children, like all Americans.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing? So it's not a subject matter that is behind the curtain. It's out in the open. Everyone's talking about it. There's no shame involved in looking into it. I play tennis, as you know, and if on the court they say, what are you doing to lose weight? We have a discussion between matches. I think it's great to talk about it, get it out in the open, and no one should be ashamed of being obese. There are many reasons why people are large, and it's not my business to determine what they did to get that way. My business is to help them fix it. Yeah.
And that, I think, we need more of you. We need more people talking about it. And I think it's great that you are doing so within the community. You know, we went and bought a car this past weekend, unfortunately. And the sales people there were asking me questions because, you know, you have to tell people what you do for your income when you're getting a car loan and all that. And so a lot of the different sales people were asking questions about it. And the finance lady was asking all types of questions. And I will tell you everything that I know if it's going to help you make a decision that ends up improving your health.
Love it.
Like one thing you said about the future of obesity, if you end up with all these conditions, there are like 12 to 15 obesity related cancers. Right? So what, now you're going to have to pay for all this. The insurance company's going to have to pay for all this chemotherapy and all these treatment plans that are way more expensive than the Mounjaro would have been in the first place. Are you still having to take your blood pressure medicine?
Yes, but I'm not sure I need to. I'm a little worried about getting off of it. I take 2. So I take 1 in the morning and 1 at night. And I do have a cuff down here, and I check my blood pressure regularly, and I am within the normal category. Now, I don't know if it's because of the tirzepatide, the Zepbound, or if it's because of the meds. It's probably a combination of both. I am worried about going too low, so I am cognizant of that, and I check it, as I say, regularly, and I report it on the app that I have for the people who supply me my meds.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because I mean, there's a lot of people that have had to stop taking, you know, they don't have to take all their meds anymore. So then you have insurance companies not having to pay for all those medicines. I think that I don't see where the disconnect is with insurance companies, where they're missing the fact that if they just pay for this one thing, that
it's money. It's all about money. But they're being short-sighted on it.
But they're going to end up spending more money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree with you. I think it would be great if the 2 major drug makers decide, okay, we can sell it at, let's just come up with a figure, $199, $299, something that's reasonable. And you and I both know they can make money at that. I saw some of the balance sheets for Eli Lilly recently, and they made so much money off of Zepbound and Mounjaro that it's not even funny. That's their major money maker. So if they can do it at, let's just say, for the sake of argument, $300 a month, they will still make money. More people will get it. And maybe Medicare won't be so reluctant to say no at carte blanche. Let's add it to the formulary, and $300 a month is, and for some people, I realize, stop there, that's going to still be a lot, and they may have to sacrifice, but at least it's not the $1,300 or over $1,000.
And if you had them lowering that cost and then Medicare adding it to their formulary at that cost, then you're going to have a lot more insurance companies that are willing to pay $300 per month. People will get more coverage. More people will get on it, like you said, and then they'd end up making probably just as much money anyway, because they have so many more people.
Exactly. So instead of having, I don't know, 3 million users, making up figures here, you'll have 6 million users, pay less, but you're going to make more money. So I applaud the folks out there that are doing the compounding now, the Orderlies of the world, the Mochis of the world. So they've seen a niche market out there and determined that people can't afford it and have decided to reformulate it, and they're doing well. In the same breath, Brittany, I know that you're on board with this. You've got to make sure you get one that is on the up and up. I would say, doctor, don't go to Dr. Google and the first one that says we can do it for $50 a month. You're probably not getting the real McCoy.
No, absolutely. And there are definite things that you have to look for. And, I do talk about Orderly a lot, but there are other good ones. There are. I just have not personally used them, so I don't talk about them, right? But there are several good options out there, and you want to look for, speaking to everybody, a reputable one that's going to offer you support, that that they're using a verified 503A, 503B pharmacy that the FDA is regulating.
Yes.
Like so many things. I mean, there's even some med spas. You were talking about the med spa earlier that you started with. There are some med spas that are mixing it in the back and giving it to people.
Yeah.
And
when I was at that place, I was questioning them as to their source, and I could tell that they really didn't want to give it up.
You have to ask questions, right? And if they're not prepared to tell you, even just the pharmacy of where it's coming from,
that's one reason I quit them. I don't think I mentioned their name on the air, so I won't. But I quit them after I think it was 2 months, and decided to seek it out on my own. But
you were losing weight with it.
I was losing weight, so everything was going good, and it's probably everything was on the up and up. But I quizzed them. I said, "Where are you getting your meds?" And they said, "We get it from a reputable firm," and blah blah blah. And she wouldn't name where it was. Maybe it's because they have an exclusive deal with them, and it's a coast to coast operation. So I think they're buying a lot, and they probably get a break because they buy so much.
Yeah. I mean, and there's the whole gray market too, right? Of research grade stuff that people buy. And I think that you can get into that sort of with med spas sometimes too, because they could just buy it. And so it's, I had a subscriber reach out that was paying $1,800 a month at a med spa. That's more than you would pay for the brand.
Wow.
Right. And so they were going and getting their shot there. She was not getting a prescription. She wasn't getting anything that said what she was taking. And I'm just like, this is real fishy to me.
Yep. I noticed they were filling my syringes in the other room. They would come in with a syringe all ready to go. I never saw them fill the syringe. And then they would always try to push a B12 injection too.
Some compounding put it in the vial with it.
Yeah. This was separate, and it was $30 extra if I wanted to have a shot. And it was IM, intramuscular. So I did it because I thought I needed to do it. And I kind of checked around, and I found that if I take some B complex supplements, that it would do the same thing. There's no reason to be injected.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of the extra stuff gets pushed. And I think a lot of the companies that add it to the vial do so to avoid not being regulatory with the FDA.
Or not getting sued.
Speaking of which, did you see, I think Melissa shared it in the Facebook group about Texas suing Eli Lilly.
Yes.
Interesting.
What was the reasoning behind that? I don't remember what their
it'll come to me. Maybe.
Yeah. I don't remember.
They are claiming that Eli Lilly was bribing doctors to prescribe, and there's something in there in the official letter about free nurses, whatever that means. They were offering them free nurses, among other things, in order to prescribe Eli Lilly products.
Yeah. I'm speaking from ignorance, so I don't know if that's true or not, but it sounds fishy to me.
I think it's all fishy.
Yeah.
I am very close actually to the Eli Lilly warehouse or place. And I've often thought of just like driving on up there and I don't know, asking questions. But my mom actually lives within 15 minutes of it.
Oh, wow.
So
I
we are
think the
not far.
lab is in, isn't it in Indiana or something like that?
There is one in Indiana, and then the one that they just built is in Concord, North Carolina, which is about 45 minutes north of Charlotte.
Mm-hmm. Where do they make your Zepbound? Is it there, or they make probably several locations?
They do Zepbound and Mounjaro, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think there's another one being built somewhere, but they were trying to up U.S. production when the shortage was going on.
Not taking their case at all, but I understand why some of the drug makers, Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk included, charge so much. One, they don't know if something 3, 5, 10 years down the line is going to cause a lawsuit, and they've been sued over these drugs. There are people out there that said, "Oh, my stomach started not emptying, and I had to have an operation, or my pancreas acted up," and there's going to be some kind of side effects with any medication. So, so I think they have to kind of guard against that and have a stockpile of cash ready to pay out in case they have to. It's a shame because we all pay for that. It seems to me, though, they've been making Zepbound and Mounjaro for so long that perhaps that stockpile is more than they need now. But that's me talking. I don't know.
One would hope that they're reinvesting that into further research and further pharmaceutical development, but
which they are. You know, there's a pill coming.
Yes, I did a little topic on that recently, where but the results weren't as promising, I think, is what they thought.
Right. I think it was like I don't know, 11 or 12% instead of 16. Hey, if you're 200 pounds, even 10% is 20. So I'll take it. And I think preliminarily there might be some of the less gastrointestinal issues, but we'll see. They're still in phase 3 on that. So I think there's. I'll tell you this, Brittany. I think there's exciting news coming up on the GLP-1 front from both of those companies, and maybe some others. There's others. Amgen is coming up with something.
Yes, Amgen, and then there was another one in China. I can't remember the name of it, but they had developed a pill, or I think it was a monthly shot that was doing really well in trials. I agree. I think 5 years from now, if you and I came on here and tried to have the same conversation, it would look very different. It's going to look very different. And there's going to be a lot more available. And, you know, I've said before, this is not a new thing with like the price war type thing.
Right.
The only reason that we notice it now is because we all want this drug.
Right.
They've done this for any branded medicine ever that they hold patents on. It's just we are fighting back against it because it's such a revolutionary product.
It is. I think it started with all the Ozempic ads several years ago.
And all the celebrities.
And it took off from there. You know, I still sing the Ozempic song. I'm a victim of everything.
Yeah.
And Zepbound, every time I turn on the news, there's another ad for Zepbound up there.
Yep, another commercial.
Yeah, so they've got money to spend and more people are aware of it. I think awareness is important, as with anything. If people are aware, and I always tell people this too, and I knew this in the news business that I used to do, knowledge is power. If people have the knowledge to back themselves up and make informed decisions, then they will hopefully do the right thing. And then we have to worry about cost and all that kind of stuff. I think the future is bright for GLP-1s. I think for people out there that are on the fence, watch a program like this and go ask your doctor about it. I feel like one of those ads. Ask your doctor.
Ask your doctor. Right for you. and that is just what I was about to say to you. If you know, to wrap all of it up, if you could say one thing to the people watching this video, what would it be? What would your pitch be?
I would say if you are struggling with weight loss, and I know that there's a lot of people, Americans are big. I know we live in a grand society where there's a cornucopia of foods and restaurants. It's really tough. I understand all that. If you're concerned that weight loss is something is unattainable for you, I would say it is not. Talk to your doctor. If you have the means, you can be a cash customer at Lilly Direct or one of the compounders like you have, and it'll be less money for you. I think you can start out at what is it at your place orderly, like $249 for the
for semaglutide, yes, and then tirzepatide's $499 for 3 months.
Right. Okay. So possibly doable. Check with your insurance company to see if they'll cover it. If not, check with your doctor to see if you have comorbidities. And I told you I have OSA, which is obstructive sleep apnea. Zepbound is approved for that. And I've had high 5 heart stents, so I have some heart issues. So all that kind of stuff can play in your favor. I would say if you have a congressman or a senator that you want to contact about changing the formulary for Medicare, get a hold of them and say, this is ridiculous. You know, if somebody has high blood pressure, they don't even blink an eye about writing a script. Why is
Right.
it for obesity? Oh, we got to stop there. It's because there's an old law that was put in place 20 years ago that they can't cover weight loss meds. I think it's ridiculous, and it's time for them to wake up. So my
I
message to
agree.
your viewers and for anyone else who's thinking about this, inquire, do some thinking. And I talk to people on my tennis court. I say, I'll walk you through it. There's a couple of people here in the villages, and I hold their hand. I say, here's how you do it. And, you know, I'll tell them what they can and cannot eat. I'll help them.
You are doing a very great service. So do what Peter said, everybody. Go talk to your doctor and find out how this medicine can change your life, because I promise you it can. I would assume that most people watching this probably already know that, but you never know. We might reach a couple people that are on the fence and are wanting to start.
Or maybe they're doing it now and they're reluctant to share it with others. You know, don't be ashamed of it. There's no shame in losing weight. You know, it's like, I hate to say it, it's almost like being an alcoholic. You have to admit you're an alcoholic, and then you get on the 12 step and you get off it. If you're overweight, admit it and try and take steps to solve it.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Yep. All right. I want to thank Peter for being here today. He was absolutely wonderful. You guys definitely go and join the Facebook group, if not just for Peter, because he contributes so much over there. He'll make little videos and post them. And this is Peter who made the intro and the outro for the channel. So I thank Peter for that as well.
You're welcome.
But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.